Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Autumn's Oddities is a strange and unusual podcast made by the strange and unusual, me, Autumn Gruby. Each week, I'll be taking you through some of the creepiest cases true crime has to offer. It won't only be true crime, I'll also be covering cryptids, haunted places, haunted things, and the true stories that inspired horror movies. Listen every Monday and Friday for new episodes. And remember, if it's creepy and weird, you'll find it here.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
You're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Dudley from Murder.
All I can think of, isn't that the name of the pain in the ass cousin from Harry Potter? Dursley? No, Dudley. What was his name?
I can't remember.
That's what it made me think of.
Okay, so do you remember, I think I told, it was a mini-sode where we talked about randonauting in one of our mini-sodes. It was like how people use this app to go to random places. Do you remember that?
To nod? Rando.
Oh, randonauting, like finding random places. So, well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was to keep busy and get outside to explore during the pandemic is how it started.
Like Pokemon Go?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but
it's an excuse to get out.
Basically, yeah. So
Okay.
like it blends technology with exploration. So it's they say it's like offering a modern twist on traditional adventure. So instead of just going outside and seeking, you use this app. So at its core, you use this Randonautica app is what it's called. And it takes you to a random location near you. And so it's
Are they good locations, or do you like end up like by a dumpster?
Yeah,
or...
some are odd, but like, so there's like a set of rules. It's almost like a choose your own adventure. So it's kind of cool. You set the rules. You can
too much true crime that I
know. Oh, honey,
seen and heard that I'm just like, this is
exactly
a horrible idea.
Exactly. We could see where this is going. So yeah, you get to set the rules, like the distance, the objective, what you're trying to find, and even the meaning behind it. So like it begins with you set an intention. You don't put it into the app or anything, but you mentally like set an intention. So obviously this was very popular with teens because they were like,
oh, for God's sake,
this is fun.
Is this like before you like shuffle tarot cards and you like think of what you want to ask?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same thing.
Okie dokie.
So it can be anything from finding something new or surprising to finding something more specific, like something yellow. Like you're out there, I want to find something yellow.
And how many teen girls were like, I want to meet a cute boy?
I bet all of them. I bet. So, but once you set the intention, the app generates a location using some random algorithm, which is, they say it's based on quantum random number generator. But it's like, I think it's like longitude, latitude type thing.
Okay.
So it's the journey is about reaching the destination, but also about being mindful and observant along the way. So they say it's like interpreting your surroundings and perhaps finding what you're looking for, or even uncovering answers to questions that have been on your mind. So some woo-woo
This
crap.
sounds like a lot of those memes that just pop up in my account, like my Facebook, and I'm just like, oh
no, find the meaning of your life.
You know.
But we actually thought of doing it for, and I wish we had, but we were kind of out of time, for Gavin's senior portraits. Like using it to find random locations and seeing how,
and hope to like just find something like, hey, this is actually
actually really cool. Yeah. But
I could see it for that. But
for
some of this
things.
Other shit just to me sounds
like bullshit. And I think most teens were just using it for fun to get outside and get together. So it offers different types of locations to explore. Attractors is one of the names, which are areas the app considers significant. Voids, which are areas considered insignificant, and anomalies, which can be either and are chosen at random. So you can choose in the app which you want it to do. So people set their intentions for their randonauting experience, and successful intentions are often those that resonate with your individual, of course, just like you were saying with the tarot cards. Like some people say, like, find me something that sparks joy, which is cool, or find an unexpected surprise. Some use the experience to explore more abstract ideas, such as searching to answers to existential questions or seeking proof of the supernatural. Yeah. And there's people that think they find ghosts and stuff. But
okay.
So some experience coincidences, and others return home without finding anything. But perhaps that's the fun of it. It's about the journey, what you make of it. So basically, it's a way to inject a bit of randomness and adventure into your life, encouraging you to explore the world around you with new eyes like you haven't been to before.
Okay.
So,
and all of this has led us to a murder story. How I am not surprised by this.
No.
I'm surprised we haven't done a story on this before. This is
and that's what makes it a little bit creepy, that it could lead people to these things. And it's happened more than once.
Okay.
That people have been led to odd things. And so they were wondering, like, did people, the makers somehow put something, into it?
You don't know who's behind all of it on the web. Come on.
Like, okay, I placed all these bodies around. Here, have fun finding them when I send them,
Oh, Rando, where do I hide the body maker? Like, where should I bury this one?
We have a new app idea.
Oh my God. Find me a void.
Find me the insignificant area to put body.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thick in the time of COVID. It's June 19th of 2020. A group of teens, they're out randonauting in Seattle. And the app leads them to the shores of Alki Beach, which has swimming areas as well as like rocky outcrops and stuff. Okay. So the pinpoint they're led to is right along this rocky area of the shore. And literally when they look down towards the water, there's a suitcase that is washed up on the rocks.
Okay.
And they climb down to the bag, and it is reeking a disgusting stench. Yeah. And I mean, there's video of all this. So before opening it, okay, this is all it. Yeah, it's crazy. Before opening it, they're joking, oh, it's probably a bag of money, haha, which is not where my mind would have gone. Just like you,
where my mind went.
I would not.
It's never a mannequin. No. It's never a mannequin.
It's never a bag of money. So they climb down the rocky place, and they get it open with a stick. Luckily, they're not using their hands. They see it's filled with thick plastic bags. So this is where they are super smart and they call cops instead of actually ripping open the plastic. So
let's just stop where we're at right here. Yeah, people don't toss suitcases of money into the ocean.
They
toss suitcases full of body parts into the ocean.
Yeah, that they just are hoping don't. They're hoping they sink, but no, we don't sink often as humans. So many people have seen the TikTok video of this where the kids recorded their findings, and it goes viral the same night that they post it. And I'm not sure if they did it as a live, but yeah. And I remember when it was happening, I remember seeing it and going, what really? The hell is this real? And I didn't think it was real. It's real.
Oh God.
So,
okay.
After the kids call the police, it takes the police 3 hours to show up.
Well, I mean, nobody was in actual danger.
True. Maybe they were like, we got other shit to do. We'll get there eventually. So these teens wait for about 3 hours because it took so long. The tide had started to come in, and the suitcase is now starting to sink into the water.
They didn't move it
the kids
away
didn't want
from
to
the
touch
water?
Anything. They were just like,
all right.
When they found it was pretty high up on the rocks, but the tide must come in pretty high. So authorities, they get down there, they climb down, they pull the suitcase up. It had now started to spill some of the contents out because of the water.
Oh shit.
They confirm, it's dismembered human remains inside. So
I don't think any of us listening to this story are surprised to hear that.
We all assumed that was what it would be, especially with the stench. Suitcase. Suitcase and stench. Bam, bam. It's a human. So, they start looking around the other waterways all around. Not very far away, they find a large duffel bag floating in the water. So they pull that out, and there's more body parts in this one. So more plastic bags wrapped the exact same way, same kind of bags. I think of like those thick, when I saw pictures of it, thick black, outdoor bags that you put
for like outdoor.
in.
Yeah. The really thick ones
Thick
for like
ones.
not for like your regular kitchen garbage.
Nope,
Like those
these
outdoor
are
bags. Yeah.
heavy duty. After recovering all that they can in that area, they take the remains to the medical examiner. And among the remains, the ME finds 2 heads. So
Two
heads. There's not just
not likely that it's like a Siamese twin situation or whatever I don't know what the politically correct thing for it now, but I just assume it wasn't.
No, I think they were separate. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Not on the same body unless someone did a really good job of separating them. And yeah.
Okay.
But, one is male and one is female. So like you said, now they know they have 2 bodies instead of what they assumed was the first one, unless
oh boy,
maybe it was a Siamese twin that
it was a weird
unsure
conjoined
of.
twins. That's what it's called.
Conjoined.
That's what it is.
That's
sorry, everybody. I don't mean
one.
to be offensive. It's just
we're just old.
Think of the
word.
I couldn't think
all it is. We're just old. Yeah. So hands must have been amongst the remains because they're able to gather prints. Yeah,
lots of them.
So many hands.
Many fingers to print.
Labyrinth of hands. So yeah, they're able to print them and identify the victims. They were 27-year-old Austin Wenner and 35-year-old Jessica Lewis.
Okay.
So Austin's mom, her name is Charlene Creans. She'd been trying to locate Austin and his girlfriend, who is Jessica, the other victim, for a while now. Austin's a grown man with his own life. So like most parents, she'd check in every couple of weeks to see how things are going. But she'd been trying for at least a week and getting no response for him. So
and that wasn't terribly normal.
Not terribly normal, although like life hadn't been easy for Austin. He had some emotional issues growing up, which all of us tend to, but his were pretty deep. He was deeply affected by things around him. He took that on as his own pain. Must have been super empathetic. So
yeah,
it caused a ton of anxiety and I'm guessing depression. It didn't say that, but when he's in his later teens, he just couldn't seem to cope and he turned to drugs to numb the pain.
Yeah.
So like so many others, meth becomes his drug of choice.
Oh no, not meth.
I know. He went there. So at the age of 16, his mom, Charlene's just like, she had to make the heart-wrenching decision to throw him out of the house because she had other kids and she just couldn't have him being around that lifestyle or the drugs. So he's out of the house, although they still talk and everything. But Austin met Jessica when he was 20. At the time, she had 3 kids. She's quite a bit older. I mean, let's see, when they were found, he was 27, 35. Yeah.
5. Okay.
She had 3 kids, and I don't believe she had custody of them. She was divorced or not married because she too suffered from addiction pretty badly.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he wasn't clean when he met her.
No. And I think, they kind of bonded through their trauma and saw each other as each other's safe space. So, but they were inseparable from the start. They couch hopped often. They had trouble finding places to stay permanently because of their drug and money problems. So not easy. So Jessica, she's described as social and loving, but struggling with her own demons. And they kept her from achieving her goals. And it sounds like she and Austin were just taking life like day by day.
Gotcha.
They'd been together for 8 years by the time of their deaths. So they were dedicated to each other.
And they weren't in recovery as far as you can tell?
No, I know they tried a few times and just kept not working.
Gotcha. Okay.
Meth people, it's the worst you could get on. So
yeah.
So for Charlene, Austin's mom, not being able to get a hold of Austin wasn't totally out of the norm. Like he often would sell his phone for drug money, or he didn't have it on him, or he'd have it turned off or run out of battery. But she knew something was really wrong when she couldn't get a hold of Jessica, because she always had her phone. She was very easy to get a hold of, and they weren't getting hold of him. So families begin to search homeless encampments. They're asking around with friends and acquaintances, but no one knows where the couple is. So families are getting ready to do a missing persons report, but it was like their last ditch effort to try to find him. So, but Charlene had seen the news report about the viral TikTok video.
Oh no.
And the human remains being found. And she never thought that it could be her son until the same day she was going to go report him missing. The police come knocking. Tell her.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she said that like totally compounded, like knowing that it became this viral video and that's her kid in there and the sweet girl. So,
God,
it just compounded it. Like, and I definitely don't. The TikTok kids were not mean about. I mean, they weren't. I guess they had gone home and were just crying. Not realizing. At first, it wasn't like they were being mean.
Exactly.
Doing what they were doing, they had no ill intentions. But
oh my God, that's just awful.
I know. So when detectives come and inform Charlene of Austin's death, which wasn't until June 29th, so that's like 10 days after the suitcases are found. I'm sure it took a while to
identify and everything. And
So she asks, well, where was he found? And they tell her, well, he's found outside, but that's all they would tell her. I don't think they wanted her to know the horrible situation.
It was the suitcase thing?
Yeah. So it took a while before she found out he was the victim of that Randonauting video because the police, she asked the police, okay, what day do you think he died? And they told her, this June 19th. And so she did a search online to find out any bodies that had been found. And that was the only one for that date.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how she figured it out, which is pretty sad. I think for her, she kind of would have liked to know that was the thing, but the police were trying to be.
Thing you have to grasp onto was to get as much information as possible, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think the police were like,
trying to protect her.
This is sick, and they're like, we don't want her to think of that as being the last moments he had. But 3 days after the discovery of the suitcase and duffel bag, a person is out walking their dog near Duwamish Waterway, which is 7.5 miles from Alki Beach, where the others were found. A suitcase had also washed up here and drawn the attention of their dog that they're walking.
Oh,
God. But this dog walker had seen that infamous TikTok video and news report, and immediately it was like, I'm calling police. No,
I'm not touching this thing. I'm not police.
Fucking around. Another suitcase, 7 miles from the other. So they come out. Yep. That's another suitcase filled with body parts wrapped in the same type of thick black bags.
Oh boy, this is a thing now.
It's a thing. Oh, and I think this suitcase was part of a set that matched that other suitcase.
Shit. How many pieces were in the set? Do I want to know?
Do we have a 7-piece set here, or is this?
Because I don't want. How many more can we possibly find?
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Even with all the bags found, though, there's still a lot of body parts missing. So you might be right that there was more to the set that never.
No, that's not one of the things I want to be right on.
No.
Really... Okay.
And I know they said something about Austin's lower half was never found.
Oh my God.
Recovered. They had been
still in the makeup case somewhere.
Oh
no.
I know. Okay. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. Okay.
Pieces had to be cut into pieces.
No.
Okay. People are disgusting. What is wrong with these people?
Tell me what they found in the other suitcase.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, I know in one was a foot and stuff. I mean, it was just like pieces. Like they took apart everything. The medical examiner, though, was able to determine that Jessica's cause of death was by gunshot. And she'd been shot at least 4 times. And one of those rounds had severed an artery to her heart. So
the second suitcase had just other parts of Austin and Jessica, right? It wasn't another person altogether?
Nope.
Oh,
it was just them. Okay. It was still pieces of them, but...
Oh, God. Okay. I was worried that we had a whole nother victim.
Oh, God. Okay. No, they just used multiple bags.
Right.
So
they had a full set.
But they're still missing a lot of Austin. So that left them with a lot less answers to how he died. But the ME determined he most likely died in the same way as Jessica,
Right.
since they were found together.
Right.
Oh, so investigators learned that Austin and Jessica had most recently lived in a place that Austin's aunt had connected them with.
Okay.
So the aunt had lived as a tenant at a man named Michael Dudley's house.
Okay.
She'd lived there for a few years and she had a great relationship with the homeowner. He seems like a
Okay.
nice guy. He lived by himself, this Michael Dudley. He occasionally rented out rooms, either for longer term tenants and sometimes like as Airbnbs.
Okay.
So Austin's aunt had lived in a trailer on Michael's property, and she would make meals for renters and she would make sure the property was clean and ready for those coming to stay. So the aunt was getting ready to move down to California, and she introduces Austin and Jessica to Michael Dudley, hoping that maybe they could rent a room from him.
Okay.
Because they're always kind of in a dire
Looking
straits.
for somewhere to stay.
Yeah. Michael agrees. The couple can rent a room from him. He had two that he'd rent out often in his own house. One he called the blue room and one the yellow room. And obviously they were painted those colors. So
Yeah. Okay.
he had some space there. Austin and Jessica moved into the blue room as of October. I don't know if someone else was renting the yellow room at the time, but they moved in there in October of 2019. And they're relieved to be there because they have a place to take their cat. They had a pet cat. So yeah.
Okay.
And Michael,
it's hard to find some place to stay with a
Totally,
pet.
with a
That's
pet.
a whole nother
Yep.
and cats especially because more people have severe cat allergies. So
yep, exactly.
that was great that they found that place.
Yeah. So they were so excited. And Michael's like, yep, I love animals. Bring your animals. And he even had a chicken coop out back,
Oh.
you know. I mean, he had a good plot of land there. So that was kind of nice. And Michael, he portrayed himself as this geeky computer programmer. I think at this time he's in his 50s, maybe early 60s. He's quiet but respectful. He's got a dog in that chicken coop. And he had a lot of security cameras around the property. So it seems like he's concerned with safety, which is good.
Cool. Okay.
He had a ton of computers in his basement with multiple monitors, and no one's like sure what he does with them all. But since he's this computer
He's a
geek,
hacker guy.
yeah, maybe, yeah,
Nerdy
like
hacker guy.
nerdy,
Okay.
yeah. They figure he's probably just fixing all these computers and reselling them something.
Okay.
There's this one woman. She had been a tenant of Mike's property previously during her time living at his house, and her name was Shelley. And she met Michael when she was moving from Switzerland to Seattle. So
that's a big move.
Huge move. And so police are like, well, we should find out from other tenants what kind of guy this is, you know. She needed a place to stay, and she found this Airbnb that was Michael's that took pets. Right. And she was like, I have two dogs. I am needing a place for my two dogs and me. So she was just going to live there until she found employment, you know, just short term. So Mike's like, yep, bring your two dogs. That's great. They'll love my dog. The house was near to an airport, which was good for Shelley because she needed to go see her parents a lot who lived in Kansas. So some of the interviews Shelley's scheduled were a couple hours away. And she was like, shit, now I need transportation to those. So she's telling Mike about that. And after she moved in, he's like, you know what? I'd be happy to drive you. I'll take you down there. I mean,
couple hours away.
And he's like, sure, I can.
I mean, there's nice, and then there's like,
wow.
Okay.
I feel like I owe you something now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, I'm happy to drive you. So she said their discussions on the drives are enjoyable, and Mike's very funny, dry sense of humor, and super smart guy. And she's very smart, so they get along really well. While living there, they would often walk their dogs together.
Okay.
Seems like a great situation. Mike had this little Chihuahua, and Shelley's two dogs were like a Jack Russell and some other kind of terrier, it looked like.
Okay.
Mike's little Chihuahua was trained to walk off leash with him.
Oh, wow.
Like they do in Europe. No, but
right.
It was crazy in Spain when we were there to see all the dogs just following all their owners. And I was like, what is this how it's supposed to be? And we just
did they not have squirrels there? Because that's really the only problem is if a squirrel or a rabbit goes by, that's when suddenly it's
shocked.
like,
I don't know. I was so shocked because even passing other dogs, they wouldn't freak out and stop. It was like,
wow,
like we've lost some kind of thing that used to be normal, and in America we've unevolved. We devolved.
We devolved our dogs.
Yeah.
Way to go, America.
Yeah. Good job.
Wow.
But
okay. So
apparently Mike had trained his Chihuahua to do what they used to do. So
okay.
on one walk, they're walking together. It's dusk. Mike's dog, the little Chihuahua's name is Duke. He's walking along as usual without a leash. Two are talking. And then they suddenly realize that Duke's not with him. Like you said, like maybe he saw a squirrel.
Yeah, it's probably
something
easier to lose him when you don't have like a leash.
A leash.
Tugged,
Plus, he's so tiny and you don't notice.
Yeah.
So he's gone, and almost at the same time they realize he's gone, Mike gets a call on his cell phone
from the dog.
Duke's like, "Yo, bitch, you're walking too fast. I got tiny legs here."
Exactly. I fell behind a mile ago, and you didn't even notice.
Assholes. So he answers, and this caller tells him, "Yeah, I'm holding your dog. Someone ran over him and didn't stop." I know.
Sorry, I like totally like messed up my entire computer because I was in shock.
I know.
No.
I know. So unfortunately, Duke was already dead. So Shelly and Mike hurried where the caller told him they were, and Mike takes Duke's little body home with them.
I take it back. It's not cool that people can train their dogs to walk
I know. And I think
leash.
that's exactly probably why we have it in America so much, because who knows what happened there.
Poor Duke.
So when they
notice that I had a much larger reaction to that than I did to the bodies in the suitcase.
We always do. I always do. There's these sweet innocent babies.
Oh God. Okay, sorry.
I know. So they get back to the house. Mike's got Duke's little body. He tells Sherry, "I just need some time, and I'm going to go lay down and say goodbye to Duke." So he takes Duke with him to his bedroom.
Yeah.
But he ends up sleeping with the dead dog for 2 to 3 nights.
I'm sorry, what?
Bed. Yeah.
All right. I will give him one night. I will give him that.
Yep.
Okay. I will give him that.
Yep.
I don't know that I would do it, but I mean, I don't. I mean,
I'm the same.
Can see it.
One night, absolutely. You're like, oh my God, it just happened. Grieving. Absolutely. You can still grieve without the body right there. But Shelly, this roommate, she's trained in psychology. So she's
like, red flags.
Yeah.
Red flags.
Excuse me.
2 to 3 nights.
Yeah.
Plus, there's this thing called decomposition.
Exactly. It's a little nasty, and you don't want to remember him that way, I wouldn't think. Oh. But yeah, Shelly's like, okay, this is a complicated grief reaction.
Complicated. That's a polite way to put it. This is
she was very good about
reaction.
You could tell she was trained in this field, so she was like, okay, I think I need to have a talk with him. She speaks to him in her clinician's way and tells him, I think it's probably best and it's time to put Duke's body to rest. And Mike's response was, I'm just not ready yet. So he put Duke in the freezer.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The freezer that everybody puts their food in.
Oh God.
Not just some outdoor freezer. Nope. This is the one
with like the peas and the carrots and shit.
Yeah. A little disturbing.
I mean, I can kind of relate to this idea of I'm not ready to put him in the ground.
Right.
But if I'm not ready to put him in the ground, I certainly don't want to put him in the freezer.
That's worse, right?
That's not better.
It doesn't
get better.
To me, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll take him to the vet and ask them to keep, because they usually have freezers for that.
Yes, exactly.
And then you can decide.
I mean, it's not really my deal, but people have their pets stuffed.
He could have done that, right? There's options. So yeah, that was a little disturbing. So Shelly stayed at Mike's house for about a month, and she said the dog remained in the freezer that entire time. So she's not sure if it ever was removed. This was in 2018. So it's about a year before Austin and Jessica move in. Yeah. But she stayed friends, kind of acquaintances with
Mhm.
Michael. He was known to pet sit for a lot of other people because he
Oh, is that a
loved.
good idea? I
I
don't
know.
know. If something happens to them,
Yeah. Well, at least he very much cares, it seems like, for the pets.
obviously, maybe
He's
too much.
a
Okay.
little too caring, maybe. Yeah. But she stayed in the area, and in November of 2019, her dad came down with a bunch of health problems. So
Okay.
she needed to go visit him and help take care of him. And she knew Mike acted as this pet sitter, and he knew her dogs well. So she asks, "Hey, can you take care of him while I'm away?"
Did she? Okay.
Yeah, she
She did. Okay.
she did.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Well,
can I just put it
yeah.
that way? I'm just not comfortable
Yeah,
with this
well,
idea.
and for her, it was short notice because she had to leave that same night. So
I
she
get you.
needed somebody that she knew. Yeah. So Mike was like,
Stable.
"Yep, totally fine. Drop him off." Feeling all the same way as I did.
I'm having a lot of feelings right now.
There's
I
a
have
lot of
feelings right now.
disturbing red
I have
flags.
a lot of
Yeah. Yeah. So when she stopped by, she noticed Mike had more people that were more on the fringe of society staying at his home at this point, and that was
Okay.
Austin and Jessica. Mike told her about the new tenants. They were Austin and Jessica, and Austin was great at working on cars. So Austin would actually help Mike repair old vehicles and resell them, while Jessica did cleaning for Mike. She's like, "Oh, great. They seem like actually good people. It's just they're a little more on the fringe of society."
right.
But
And maybe they could use someone understanding to give them a chance. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the dogs she dropped off, her dogs' names were Ringo and Pepper. And they're a
Mhm.
bonded pair. I know, it's not cute.
Okay.
Bonded pair that had been raised since puppyhood together. So she would call Mike like every couple of days or every day and see how they're doing. Things sounded great. So then one day when she calls, Mike tells her, "Yeah, both the dogs are missing. Someone left the gate open and
Oh,
they
shit.
took off."
Oh, God.
Yeah. So these are her babies. She has
Yeah.
no kids. These are her babies.
I have kids. They're still my babies.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter. So he explains, Mike's like, "You know what? I'm searching for him. I've done posts on social media. I've got flyers up. I'm going door to door. I'm doing everything
Did you
I
check
can."
the freezer?
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I can't. My brain.
They went to go play with poor Duke.
They went to play with Duke in the freezer. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right.
So
Keep going. I don't know if I want to hear this. But
I
keep going.
know. So after about 2 weeks, they're still missing.
Oh,
And
jeez.
Shelley's sick with worry, but she's still in Kansas with her dad.
Well,
So
yeah,
this
she
is
can't leave. She's
no.
she's so in a bad position right now.
Yeah. Both the dogs are chipped, but they hadn't had their collars on when they went missing. So that's
Well,
stressful.
right, but if they were microchipped
chipped.
though,
Yeah.
So
that's
if they
good.
were found, she should get a call.
She should get a call. Yeah. And she kept calling the microchip company just to see if their chips had been scanned.
Gotcha.
And one day they do get a hit that one had been scanned. So Ringo had been found, but there's still no sign of Pepper. Ringo, I think, is the Jack Russell.
Okay.
Still no sign of Pepper. So Mike's like, "You know what? I got it. I'm going to go pick up Ringo." And he sends her a video of him picking up her dog, and dog's so excited. And
okay.
thank God. And it's truly Ringo. So Shelley returns the 19th of December of 2019. So she'd been gone about a month and a half. She'd been gone quite a while. Mike picks her up from the airport and she goes to sit at the kitchen table. It's probably kind of late. And Mike leaves her for a few minutes. She's drinking a cup of tea and he comes back with a chicken in his arms. She's like, "Okay." And he's just staring at her with some kind of weird look on his face.
Are we talking like a live chicken, a live chicken?
Yep,
okay.
From his chicken coop.
Okay.
And he's staring at Shelley and Mike just says, "I killed Pepper."
What?
Yeah, her dog. Yeah, I killed Pepper. And he tells her, "Well, I had to kill Pepper because Pepper killed one of this hen's chicks. So eye for an eye."
Ah.
Yeah. And Shelley, thank God she's this trained psychologist. She's like, "Okay, I got to remain calm." Keeps herself together. And she's like, really almost scared of him at this point. She realizes, holy shit.
Yeah.
This dude's more disturbed than I thought.
Yeah.
So she's a little worried that if she reacts, he might hurt her.
Yeah.
So she said, "Well, okay, how did you do it? And he says, well, I hit him. And she's like, yeah, you don't just hit a dog once and they die. So she's kind of thinking bullshit on that. And she says, okay, well, where did you bury Pepper? And he says, well, me and Austin cremated him.
How come he got to get cremated, but the
Right.
other dog's still in the freezer?
Yeah. Like you would
Okay.
think he would freeze it.
They cremated him.
Uh-huh. So Shelly calls an Uber and gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get
With the other dog, right?
fuck out.
With
Yes. Yep. So fucking weird. So I don't know if he was actually trying to get rid of the other one too by letting him just go. Like, get the fuck out of here. And
or
then hoping
Ringo witnessed it and went, holy shit, and jumped the fence. Like, I don't know.
Something.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So back to kind of Austin and Jessica. So Austin.
Did she not report this to the police or anything?
No. I think she was like, I'm just
getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this is disturbing. And she probably thought, well, what are they going to do? It's dogs. But still, at the same point, the Humane Society could have at least intervened, or, the animal police. Not good. I know. So disturbing, isn't it? That goes to show the type of person Michael Dudley is.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ace Ventura, pet detective, could have come in and done something for the situation.
Where is Ace Ventura?
Mm-hmm. Right. You said
pet detective.
Pet police. Animal. That's where my brain went, was Ace Ventura.
So Austin, he spoke to his mom fairly often, and he had mentioned to her at one point that Mike had killed a dog and left it laying out for others to see. Just laying out for a while.
Like an example?
I guess. Like, what kind of example are we making? Like, is this to intimidate other dogs? Maybe? Right. I don't know. And then he had also told her that he had seen a few more concerning things about Mike, so,
oh God.
Mike had a ton of cameras everywhere, which would you think, okay, that's good for safety, maybe to protect himself and the tenants.
Right. Security cameras.
And and apparently it's one of the worst neighborhoods in the Seattle area. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's even worse inside this guy's house.
Yeah, a little
You're
creepy.
safer in the neighborhood than in that.
Totally in that freaking house. And Austin, he didn't share a ton with his mom, but he did mention, there's a lot of really strict rules we have to follow here. So to even go onto the house or the property, it needed to be pre-approved by Michael. So that even for his mom to visit, they had to get prior, advanced notice and approval. Right. With Mike first.
Okay.
Yeah. So unbeknownst to his mom, Austin and Jessica do jobs for Mike that aren't exactly illegal. They would steal car parts or even cars for Mike, who actually had a ring of fenced goods that he controlled. So with a lot of other people that I think he was in cahoots with. So I
know why the neighborhood's no good.
Right.
It's all one guy.
It's Michael. It's Michael.
It's all Michael.
It's all Michael. So in 2020, Austin had told his mom something that he was worried about. He told her, okay, I think Jessica and I saw something we probably shouldn't have, and we're a little afraid for our safety. They had seen a large number of guns being unloaded from a vehicle into Michael's property.
Oh.
So he's afraid that...
God, don't arm him.
I know. He's afraid that Mike knew they'd seen what they saw, and they might do something about it. However, this is right when COVID hits. And
now everyone's on fucking lockdown.
Yeah. They have no option to change their situation at the time. So they're concerned enough for their safety, though, that they actually tell a friend that if they go missing, to look at Michael. They had a fucking clue something was going to happen. So after Austin and Jessica had gone missing, but before the remains are found, Charlene had tried to get a hold of Michael to ask if he'd seen the pair. So she called and she texts and doesn't hear back. So finally she leaves a voicemail saying, if you don't call me back, I'm going to stop by. He immediately...
Without prior approval too. Okay.
Right. I'm not getting your fucking approval. I'm going to stop by. He immediately calls her back. And Michael tells her, oh, Austin and Jessica, they moved out in a hurry one day, left a huge freaking mess in my house, abandoned the room, abandoned all their shit. And now I got to clean it. And Charlene's like, oh, I would have loved to know that they moved out. Do you want me to clean it? I'm here. I'll come clean it. I'll take all their stuff.
Get their shit. I'll take their stuff.
Yeah. Mike says, no, I've got it taken care of. So apparently Austin's dad himself did go stop by the house. They're not married anymore, Charlene and Austin's dad.
But he did stop without prior approval.
Without prior approval. Yep. He did not. Yeah, they have to wear a special lanyard.
Right, exactly. You have level 3 clearance.
Yeah. So yeah, he does stop by the house to question Mike, and this was before the cops were involved. He got the same story that the couple had moved out in a hurry. Austin's dad noticed like there was a garbage can outside and it was overflowing, and at the base of it, like a bunch of stuff had been thrown there, was some of Austin's clothing. And he knew it was Austin's because he had bought it all for him.
Gotcha.
So he's like, that's weird. They wouldn't be leaving all their shit behind because that's all they had. So
yeah. Did they take their cat? Was the cat still there?
No, good question. It might be in the fucking freezer for all we know.
God. Okay.
I wouldn't doubt it with this dude. Psycho.
Okay.
Anyway, the last time anyone claimed they'd seen the couple was May 29th. And their bodies were found June 9th. So when the police start investigating and get the background on the couple, they, of course, decide to pay Michael a visit. So they go over there.
Very good idea.
Yep. We're going to go see what happens. So they go over there. A neighbor sees them pull up and comes over and says, hey, are you here about the gunshots we reported? They're like, what?
Sure.
They what? When? Who? What? Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. We're a little late because this was on June 9th. At 7:15 p.m. This neighbor calls 911 and they're like, we hear shots coming from Michael's house next door and someone is screaming for help. Please.
And no one fucking came?
Half an hour later at 7:45, the cops still hadn't shown up. So the neighbors call 911 again. They're like, yelling is still going on. Someone is saying, please don't do this. Just leave me. Or just let me leave over and over again. Are you guys going to fucking get here? So more time passes. Finally, police get there. They knock on Mike's door. There's no answer. Still no answer. Unsuccessful. Nobody's answering the door. So they're like, well, we don't see anything concerning and there's no signs of a crime. Can't do anything else. So they just leave.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, no, everyone's dead now.
Yep. Yeah, there was a chance. People were screaming for fucking help. It makes me so mad.
Epic.
It makes me so mad.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did it take so long to respond? I don't know. Is it because it's the bad area, so they don't care as much?
I don't know. And then they didn't even.
They don't even do anything.
We didn't get an answer.
Yeah. Which Mike's probably sitting there on his computers watching them and all the cameras.
Right.
Just not answering because he's like,
what if it had been a total shootout and everyone had shot each other? Then when does that get discovered? If they don't, I mean,
can't you like force entry? I don't know. Maybe not.
I
don't know. Pretty ridiculous. But so investigators, they're immediately suspicious of Michael Dudley and they run his record. He'd had pretty minor arrest records, things like drug possession, DUI. But after they find out about the shots fired calls on June 9th, detectives get a search warrant for Jessica's phone. So they find the last place her phone pinged was at or near Mike's house. So,
shocker.
Yeah. And then it was turned off and never turned on again. And then there was this woman who comes forward. She was taken into custody on an unrelated matter. And she had heard about the investigation on Michael Dudley. And she's like, I need to talk to you guys. So got some things to tell you.
Can't wait to hear this shit. Let's go.
So this woman, she arrived at Mike's house on the night of June 9th, where she was meant to rent a room from him. So she got there later at night. This is long after that 911 call about all the shots fired.
When everything had calmed down and there was nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. So she gets in the house. She's like, everything is super quiet. Mike's glasses are cracked and he had scratches all over his arms. So she's like, okay, that's
That
weird.
doesn't seem normal.
No. And I'm kind of wondering if this girl, I know she had arrest records for drugs and prostitution and things. So
Okay.
she was in a rougher spot. She went to take a shower, which I'm sure, maybe she'd been homeless and was like, okay, I'm going to
Sure.
take a shower.
Okay. She's got a clean place to stay and
Right. I'm
clean
gonna
up
go
and stuff. Okay.
clean up. So she goes and takes a shower. She comes out and goes down the hall and opens a door. And she opens the door and sees that everything's painted blue. So she's like, I went into this blue room and there's like heaps of clothing and junk everywhere. But sticking out of the clothing, she could see an arm.
And it's never a mannequin.
It's never a mannequin. She's streetwise. So she's like shutting the door. Mike notices her down the hall and tells her, oh, yeah, I need to clean that room before you stay there. That's going to be your room, but I got to clean it up. So she's like, okay, yeah, pretending she didn't see anything.
Mm.
And Mike's like, well, is there somewhere I can drop you until I get the room ready? Because it's
What
obviously
happened to
just
the
not
yellow
ready.
room? I thought there was a yellow room.
There is. I think somebody must have been staying there.
Oh, and heard all this shit? Anyway, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever.
He
Whatever.
seems a little scary, so everybody's going to like not respond. So she's like, sure, yep, I can stay somewhere else. So as she's leaving, she noticed she must have gone down the basement with him to check things out or something.
Wait, what?
I know. I don't
Has she never
understand
seen
how
a
she
horror
got
movie?
down there.
I mean,
I
at
know.
first I'm sitting there going, oh my God, he's given her an out. Maybe you can leave the property.
Maybe leave.
I'm like, hell yeah, I think I will. Thank you.
Exactly.
But first, let's go check out the basement. Who does that?
People who are homeless and desperate, apparently.
Girl, you just got a gift.
Yeah, get her out of there. But she had seen that Mike had laid out a large piece of plastic in the basement.
Oh my God.
And so she's like, yeah, she goes elsewhere. However, she ends up coming back to go stay in the blue room once it's ready.
Dude, tell me you're joking.
It's the only place she had to go. So she tells the police what she saw in the blue room when she got there. Like, it was completely cleaned and everything. But she said there's bullet holes in the room. I'm pretty sure there were bullet holes. So yeah, she went and asked Mike about it at one point because he's very good. I think he's very manipulative.
How do you do that? Like,
yeah.
Hey,
well,
there might be a mouse. There's holes in the wall. Like, how do you bring that up?
She asked, she's like, how did she put it?
Plus, she already saw a body. So,
right. Why would you ask? I think she was a trusting sort. I don't know, but
dear God.
But she did ask, well, what happened in there? I could tell something happened. And Mike replied with, quote, let's put it this way. His gun misfired and mine didn't.
Oh, okay.
So she is fucking terrified. And she is so afraid, even telling the police this now. Like, she's physically shaking. And
okay.
The police are getting an idea. Okay, this guy's fucking dangerous. And
yeah,
he has a lot of influence. And he probably has a lot of people that are working for him. They do figure out he is a drug dealer. And heavily
hence
into
the
all
security
this stuff.
cameras.
Yep.
And no surprise visits.
Yep, exactly. So on August 19th of 2020, police arrest Michael Dudley. They search his home. And if you saw this guy, you would not think of him as a drug dealer. Like, you see nerdy old dude with white hair, paunch belly, looks like a normal ass everyday person.
Really?
With a normal job. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. During interrogation, they ask if he'd seen reports about Austin and Jessica. And he's like, yeah, I did. So they're like, why didn't you ever call us about it? Because like even old friends of theirs are calling to say, oh my God, if there's anything I can do to help. And they're like,
right.
You were probably the last person they stayed with.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he just shrugs it off. I don't know. Just didn't. So they ask him, so did you have any problems with Austin? And Mike says, well, Austin was constantly stealing from me, but other than that, no.
Okay.
So, but his explanation to them, they're like, well, why do you think this would have happened to them? And he's like, well, Austin was playing dangerous games with gangs.
Was he now?
Yeah. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, Austin robbed the Samoans.
Sorry?
Just all the Samoans.
All
he
of them?
robbed apparently he robbed them of duffel bags full of dope. And the Samoans must have somehow thought it was the Mexicans. So they robbed the Mexicans who owed
Why
money
is this
to the
becoming
cartel.
a nationality war? What just happened?
That's what they're like. What? So
What?
basically, they're saying Austin started a huge gang war and he's at the epicenter of it. And so obviously he's going to die and be torn into pieces. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, they're like, oh, sure. Okay. So they ask him, okay, well, has there ever been a gunshot at your house? And Michael's instantly like, well, what are the forensic people finding? Like, how much should I tell you?
Right. You tell me what you know first, and then I'll tell you what my story is.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, well, in your blue room, there's some bullet strikes we found. And he's like, God, I don't remember shooting it in the blue room.
No.
Okay, so all the others, though, maybe, I don't know. But the forensics team did find that the blue room had been deep cleaned and repainted. However, don't know why they didn't fill in the holes of the bullet strikes and stuff.
Yeah, if you're painting.
Yeah, why wouldn't you fill in? You would patch it. But nope, he didn't. He's just like, I'll just paint over it. They even dug bullets out of the furniture. So dude did not do a good job. He just thought the painting over it would get rid of everything. Or maybe he thought they wouldn't be ballsy enough to check his house. I don't know. So the 3 bullets they did find lodged in the walls and stuff, the furniture, had come from the same gun.
Uh-huh.
And there was also a blood swipe on the headboard. He missed that one when he was cleaning.
Oh.
And it came back as Austin's blood. So.
Uh-huh.
So police obtained 3 months of Mike's cell phone records. So there was only one time his phone left the area of his house in those 3 months. I know.
So either he didn't take his phone with him, which is probably not likely.
Right.
Or this guy doesn't get out much at all.
He doesn't do much. I think everyone comes to him. That was the evening of June 18th that he left and through into the morning of June 19th. And the phone showed his path was a big loop that went past Alki Beach and Duwamish Waterway and back to his house. So
that is so surprising.
Weird. Wonder who dumped those. Yep. So police believe that Austin and Jessica had a fight with Mike over rent money that they owed.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike shot both of them with the help probably of others because they said the dismembering was very haphazard and probably took multiple people to do. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
so
probably
like maybe whoever was staying in the yellow room.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I wouldn't guess. Because otherwise, like, you help me or you die type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on December 8th of 2022, Michael Dudley was found guilty on 2 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 46 years in prison and will not be eligible for parole until the age of 104.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. But you can still find videos of the teens TikTok thing where they're
finding. Wow, really?
Yeah, it's creepy. But I kind of remember, I don't remember what episode. Oh, it might have been the mini-sode about the vampire girl.
Yes, I think that was it.
Yeah, I talked about Randonauting because there's been a couple. I remember there was one where some kids were taken to a point in the forest and they found a car that had probably gone off a cliff or something.
Mm-hmm.
And had been there a long time. And then they were hearing voices in the woods and they fucking freaked out and left because they thought it was ghosts. But I mean, it's been a lot of little things like that have happened. So kind of weird.
That was a great story. How did we not hear about that one before?
I've just been waiting for it to be solved. I mean, I'd heard about the things washing up, but I hadn't heard about that until I found this episode that I watched of Worst Roommate Ever. Called The Lethal Landlord, which, worst roommate ever.
Yeah, right. Okay.
For freaking sure. Yeah. So like you said, they did say stuff like, this guy's working with big time drug dealers and stuff because of the surveillance and
Wow.
yeah, those poor kids. Ugh.
Wow.
Anyway, okay, my other sources were the Federal Way Mirror, king5.com, theescaperumor.com.
Okay, that's weird.
Maybe it tells you how to escape people like this. I don't know. And seattletimes.com.
Damn.
Oh,
That was a great story, though.
freaking wild, wasn't it?
Ooh.
Oh, those poor kids. Ugh. All the kids, the
Wow.
kids that found the bodies, the kids that were
Middle-aged,
the bodies.
Chubby, nerdy, white guy
Oh my God.
named Dudley. Yeah, that's
Michael
not
Dudley.
someone on your
No.
radar.
No. And I think, I go down Reddit rabbit holes, and someone was saying that his family had a good amount of money. And so people were very afraid that he was going to get off of these charges and come
Oh, Lord.
after people because apparently he's connected and very well connected. So
Mhm.
creepy.
Oh, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of ODFM. ODFM is hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Editing and production is by Kelly DeVries. Theme music is by Eric Swanson. For images from each episode and more, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok with the handle ODFM Podcast. For video episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for ODFM Podcast. If you are looking for more content, chances at prizes and more, become a Patreon fan at patreon.com/ODFM podcast. Subscribing to our Patreon is a great way to help us get better equipment, and our big goal is to hire an editor someday, so your contribution could really make a difference. If you can't give monthly, there are other ways you can help. Share us with your true crime friends. Word of mouth goes a long way. Or you can give us a one-time contribution through buymeacoffee.com/ODFM podcast. We appreciate your support, and someday we hope to make ODFM our main jobs with your help.